Welcome back to the Coking.com channel. I'm your host, Evan Hyde, and I am on the shop floor with our friends at MIAM and Kanan Fontenot with MIAM. Kanan, thank you. Welcome.
Good to see you, Evan.
All right, could you just introduce yourself briefly to our audience?
I'm Kanan Fontenot with the MIAM North American Company. We are a special manufacturer of severe service specialty valves.
Perfect. Well, so what you're seeing in front of us right here, so this is a switch valve. Obviously, this is a little mini version. You see they have very big versions of their valves behind us, but for the purposes of a demo, this is a switch valve. So most of us know, but just as a bit of a rundown, the feed would come in through the bottom here, and it would come out of the ports on the side. You have potentially drum A, drum B, and for the purposes of this demonstration, they were nice enough to slice away the outside of the valve to show the internal. So, Kanan, can you kind of give us a rundown about how this valve works and what are the major parts?
Sure. The InnoSWITCH switch valve is fairly simple in design. It's an inverted tapered plug interior of a solid forged body. And obviously, as Evan mentioned, your inlet and your outlets for either drum and a bypass. The inverted plug, all metal, and it seats off in the body itself.
So maybe while you're describing it, I will do the action.
Yeah. The plug itself actually drops down, you can see right here, and actually creates a little bit of space between the plug surface and the body seat.
Action.
When it does that, it actually allows the plug to rotate freely 360 degrees. And in this valve design right here, you can see the body is a little angular from the exterior. It's designed actually to replace other types of valves that may be in system already, like a ball. Once the valve is actually rotated to the correct drum or bypass, then the next motion would be to elevate it and seat it off.
So now we're lifting the plug back up and driving the plug into that metal seat. So
that's correct.
I'd encourage the viewers, we had the opportunity to see some of the grinding machines in a separate video of how this metal surface is created with the body and the plug itself. So check back to those videos if you're curious to see how that actually works. So Kanan, we've talked a little bit about the body. We've talked about the plug. Like all valves in delayed coker service, they live or die by steam, right? So we have the opportunity to kind of see the steam purge ports here. Can you kind of give us the quick rundown on the steam purge?
Certainly. So you have two steam inlets here, one for the bottom of the plug, one for the top. And what happens is allows for the purge media to inject into the system. When the plug descends, steam is allowed to come in here, keeping all this area free from debris or coke particle. Then you have one on top of the plug, and that runs through. And then we also have another purge line that goes into the packing area, keeping that clean. So those purge medias would come in at a higher pressure than whatever your process.
Sure.
So keeping those areas clean is critical to the process or to the function of the valve.
Mm-hmm. And like we mentioned with the Innocon valve, and it's true with all plug valves, is that when the plug is in its fully seated position, the steam purges are effectively off because there should be nothing going in.
That's correct. The only one that would continue to run would be the one to the to the packing area. All the others would essentially be shut off, and so you're not spilling purge or losing money, essentially pumping dollar bills into your process line all the time.
Interesting. Well, are there any other pieces and parts of this valve that we haven't already discussed?
Actually, I did want to mention to you, this particular demo is our most basic in design. So what you see here is just two simple gearing systems. So you have a standard lift and drop gear and a rotation gear. In today's world, people are trying to keep personnel, operations folks off of the deck.
Big fan of that.
If you can operate that from the control room, that's the best way to do it. So what we offer is this for the most rudimentary design We can, in fact, install electric actuators. That would be our next step up, where you could actually push button control it.
Okay.
And you have indication for position here. And of course, we have proximities here that will give you extra indication back at the control room as to where the plug is at. If you wanted to go a little bit further, we actually build quite often remote push button boxes, so you don't actually even come to the valve. And that could be put maybe in the coker deck,
somewhere away from the actual action.
Exactly. So that's quite common. We also manufacture a fully plug-and-play system, essentially a complete PLC logic, everything. So it's completely controlled from the control room, and you might have all this as secondary or tertiary operations available to you should something go wrong, loss of power, damage, what have you. But yeah, we can make this thing as advanced or as simple as you'd like, depending on the needs of the customer.
Yeah, so I mean, the plug valve was very early to the delayed coking industry, and there's many cokers out there that are still running these valves in full manual. So they might like and prefer, this incremental step to something that is just still a manual action, but you have the opportunity to go to the interlocks, which I think as an industry, everybody is kind of moving that direction. So you can move there over time.
Actually, that's a good point. We actually manufacture the automation as a separate device or a separate product.
Okay.
So people who actually have older style drop and turn plugs for switch valves, we actually do a lot of automation.
All that top work can be done separately.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So it's, again, a really economical way to bring your equipment up to date or modernize it to some extent. Some of our customers actually retrofit with gearing, or some actually go all the way to the advanced side where we supply PLCs.
Well, perfect. Well, I think this is an excellent demonstration piece. It really gets to show the inside of the guts of how this valve works. So I want to say thanks to our friends at MIAM for spending the time here on the shop floor. And I want to say thank you to our friends at home for watching this video. So thanks a lot, Kanan.
Thanks, Evan. Appreciate your time.
Come back to the coking.com channel for all videos and things related to coking. Talk to you soon.